Good evening. Welcome to Lumina Theatre Group's performance reading of The Rivals by Richard Brinsley Sheridan, adapted by John O'Connor. We're glad you could join us this evening, the first play reading in our 5-play spring series. The play will last approximately 80 minutes, with one 5-minute intermission. Now sit back, relax, have a beverage and snacks ready, and enjoy The Rivals.
Bath, England, 1775. City of spas, soirees, and socialites, prominent among whom may I introduce my master.
Jack Absolute, charming, handsome, and confident, captain of His Majesty's army, currently in Bath, in pursuit of...
Lydia Languish, heiress, devoted to sentimental novels in which wealthy society belles elope with lowly penniless soldiers, and romantic love conquers all.
Which is why Jack...
Son of Sir Anthony Absolute, and heir to a considerable fortune, the ungrateful, feckless...
Thank you, sir. Jack, I say, has been obliged to present himself to Lydia as Ensign Beverley, an impoverished soldier with limited prospects but expansive romantic aspirations.
Also recently come to Bath is Miss Julia Melville.
Lydia's sensible cousin, and betrothed to...
Falkland, who can never seem to believe his good fortune in being engaged to Julia.
Not least because her father betrothed her to Falkland before his death, but not before Falkland rescued her from drowning, which leads Falkland to be constantly asking himself...
But does she really love me?
Oh, and I should have mentioned that Lydia is under the supervision of her aunt and guardian.
Mrs. Malaprop, a lady of mature charms and a unique command of the oracular tongue.
So, on with the story!
My dearest Julia, how delighted I am to see you in Bath.
And are you, cousin?
Before we are interrupted, let me impart to you some of my distress. My letters have informed you of my whole connection with Beverley, but I have lost him, Julia. My aunt, Mrs. Malaprop, has discovered our relationship by a note she intercepted and has confined me ever since. Yet would you believe it? She has herself absolutely fallen in love with an Irish baronet she met one night.
Yes, Lydia.
No, upon my word. She really carries on a kind of correspondence with him under a feigned name, calling herself Delia.
Surely she is now more indulgent to her niece.
Quite the contrary. Since she has discovered her own frailty, she has become more suspicious of mine. Then I must inform you of another plague. That odious Bob Acres is to be in Bath today, the man my aunt wants me to marry, so that I protest I shall be vexed out of all spirits.
Come, Lydia, hope for the best.
But you have not heard the worst. Unfortunately, I had quarrelled with poor Beverley just before my aunt made the discovery, and I have not seen him since to make it up.
What was his offence?
Nothing at all. But I don't know how it was. As often as we had been together, we had never had a quarrel, and somehow I was afraid he would never give me an opportunity. So last Thursday, I wrote a letter to myself to inform myself that Beverley was at that time paying his attentions to another woman. I signed it, Your Friend Unknown, showed it to Beverley, charged him with his falsehood, put myself in a violent passion, and vowed I'd never see him more.
And you let him depart so, and have not seen him since?
Well, the next day my aunt found the matter out. I intended only to have teased him 3 days and a half, and now I have lost him forever.
He is as deserving and sincere as you have represented him to me. He will never give you up so. Yet consider, Lydia, you tell me he's but an ensign, and you have £30,000.
But you know I lose most of my fortune if I marry without my aunt's consent till of age, and that is what I have determined to do ever since I knew the penalty. Nor could I love the man who would wish to wait a day for the alternative.
Nay, Lydia, you are too capricious.
But what of your romance? How is the changeable fault-finding Falkland, a man who will forever delay assuming the right of a husband, while you suffer him to be equally imperious and demanding as a lover?
His affection is ardent and sincere, but his temperament, I must own, has cost me many unhappy hours.
But tell me candidly, Julia, had he never saved your life, do you think you should have been as attached to him as you are? Believe me, the rude blast that overset your boat was a preposterous gale of love to him.
Gratitude may have strengthened my attachment to Mr. Falkland, but I loved him before he had preserved me. Yet surely that alone were an obligation sufficient.
Obligation? Why, a water spaniel would have done as much. I should never think of giving my heart to a man because he could swim. What's here?
Oh, ma'am, here is Sir Anthony Absolute, just come home with your aunt.
I must go. Sir Anthony does not know I am here, and if we meet, he'll detain me to show me the town.
Oh, Lord, ma'am, they're both coming up the stairs.
Well, I'll not detain you, coz. Adieu, my dear Julia. There, through my room, you'll find another staircase.
Adieu.
There, Sir Anthony, sits the deliberate simpleton who wants to disgrace her family and lavish herself on a fellow not worth a shilling.
Madam, I thought you once...
You thought, miss? I don't know you have any business to have to think at all. Thought does not become a young woman. But the point we would request of you is that you will promise to forget this fellow, to illiterate him, as I say, quite from your memory.
Madam, it is not so easy to forget.
I say it is, miss. There is nothing on earth so easy as to forget. If a person chooses to set about it, I am sure I have as much forgot about your poor dear uncle as if he had never existed. And let me tell you, Lydia, these violent memories don't become a young woman.
What crime, madam, have I committed to be treated thus?
You promise to do as you are bid. Will you take a husband of your family's choosing?
Madam, I must tell you plainly that had I no preferment for anyone else, the choice you have made would be my aversion.
What business have you, miss, with preference and aversion? Take yourself to your room. You are fit company for nothing but your own ill humours.
Willingly, ma'am.
There's an intricate little hussy for you.
It is not to be wondered at, ma'am. All this is the natural consequence of teaching girls to read. In my way hither, Mrs. Malaprop, I observed your niece's maid coming forth from a circulating library.
Oh, those are vile places indeed.
Madam, a circulating library in a town is an evergreen tree of diabolical knowledge. And depend on it, Mrs. Malaprop, that they who are so fond of handling the leaves will long for the fruit at last.
Fie, fie, Sir Anthony. You surely speak laconically.
Why, Mrs. Malaprop, in moderation now. What would you have a woman know?
Observe me, Sir Anthony. I don't think learning becomes a young woman. But, Sir Anthony, I would send her at 9 years old to a boarding school in order to earn a little ingenuity and artifice. Then, sir, I would have her have a supercilious knowledge in accounts. And as she grew up, I would have her instructed in geometry that she might know something of the contagious countries. But above all, Sir Anthony, she should be mistress of orthodoxy, that she might not misspell and mispronounce words so shamefully as girls usually do. Likewise, she might reprehend the true meaning of what she is saying.
Well, Mrs. Malaprop, I will dispute the point no further with you, though I must confess that you are truly moderate and polite arguer, for every third word you say is on my side of the argument.
Ooh.
Mrs. Malaprop, to the most important point in debate, you say you have no objection to my
Now, I assure you, I am under no positive engagement with Mr. Akers, and as Lydia is so obstinate against him, perhaps your son Jack may have better success.
Well, madam, I will write to the boy directly. He knows not a syllable of this yet, though I have for some time had the proposal in my head. He is at present with his regiment.
We have never seen your son, Sir Anthony, but I hope no objection on his side.
Objection? Let him object if he dare. No, Mrs. Malaprop. Jack knows that the least demur puts me in a frenzy directly. My process has always been very simple. In their younger days, 'twas, Jack, do this. If he demurred, I knocked him down. From that, I always sent him out of the room.
I am the properest way. Well, Sir Anthony, I shall give Mr. Akers his discharge and prepare Lydia to receive your son's invocations, and I hope you will represent her to the captain as an object not altogether illegible.
Madam, I will handle the subject prudently. Well, I must leave you, and let me beg you, Mrs. Malaprop, to enforce this matter roundly with the girl. Take my advice. Keep a tight hand, and if she objects to the proposal, clap her under lock and key. And if you were just to let the servants forget to give her dinner for 3 or 4 days, you can't conceive how she'll come about.
Well, at any rate, I shall be glad to get her from under my intuition. She has somehow discovered my partiality for Sir Lucius O'Trigger. Sure, Lucy can't have betrayed me. No, the girl is such a simpleton. I should have made her confess it. Lucy! Lucy! Had she been one of your artificial ones, I should never have trusted her.
Did you call, ma'am?
Yes, girl. Did you see Sir Lucius while you were out?
No, indeed, ma'am, not a glimpse of him.
You're sure, Lucy, that you never mentioned...
Oh, Gemini, I'd sooner cut my tongue out.
Well, don't let your simplicity be imposed on.
No, ma'am.
Now, so come to me presently, and I'll give you another letter to Sir Lucius. But mind, Lucy, if you ever betray what you are entrusted with, unless it be other people's secrets to me, you forfeit my malevolence forever.
Let me see to what account I have turned my simplicity lately. For abetting Miss Lydia Languish in a design of running away with an ensign in money sundry times, £12.12, gowns 5, hats, ruffles, caps, etc., etc., numberless. From the said ensign within this last month, 6 guineas and a half. Item from Mrs. Malaprop for betraying the young people when I found matters were likely to be discovered anyway. 2 guineas. Item from Mr. Akers for carrying divers letters, which I never delivered. 2 guineas and a pair of buckles. Item from Sir Lucius O'Trigger, 3 crowns, 2 gold pocket pieces, and a silver snuff box. Well done, simplicity. Yet I was forced to make Sir Lucius believe that he was corresponding not with the aunt, but with the niece.
And I meant to say, call me Boots.
Boots!
Yes, Captain, I just ran into your father, Sir Anthony. I told him you had sent me to inquire after his health and to know if he was at leisure to see you.
And what did he say on hearing I was at Bath?
Sir, in my life I never saw an elderly gentleman more astonished. He started back 2 or 3 paces, rapped out a dozen oaths, and asked what the devil had brought you here.
Well, sir, what did you say?
Oh, I lied, sir. I forget the precise lie, but you may depend on it, he got no truth from me. Yet, for fear of blunders in the future, I should be glad to fix what has brought you to Bath in order that we may lie a little consistently.
What did you tell father?
Oh, I said you had come to Bath to recruit, sir.
Well, recruit will do. Let it be so. Is Mr. Falkland returned?
He is above, sir, changing his clothes.
Can you tell whether he's been informed of his fiancée, Miss Melville's arrival?
I fancy not, sir. He has seen no one since he came in but his gentleman, who was with him at Bristol.
Well, go. Tell him I'm here.
Yes, sir. Oh, I beg pardon, sir, but should Sir Anthony call, you will do me the favour to remember that we are recruiting, if you please.
Yes, yes, yes. Now for my whimsical friend, Falkland. If he does not know that his mistress is here, I'll tease him a little before I tell him. Falkland! You're welcome to Bath again. You are punctual in your return.
Yes, I've had nothing to detain me in Bristol. Oh, well, what news since I left you? How stand matters between you and Lydia?
Faith, much as they were, I've not seen her since our quarrel.
Why don't you persuade her to elope with you at once?
What, and lose 2/3 of my fortune?
Well, nay, then, you trifle too long. If you are sure of her, propose to the aunt in your own character, and write to Sir Anthony for his consent.
Softly, softly. For though I am convinced my little Lydia would elope with me as Ensign Beverley, I am by no means certain she would take me with the impediment of our family's consent, a regular humdrum wedding, and good fortune on my side. No, 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 no. I must prepare her gradually for the discovery, before I risk it. Well, but Falkland, you'll dine with us today at the hotel?
Indeed, I cannot. I am not in spirits to be of such a party.
By heavens, I shall forswear your company. What grounds for apprehension can your whimsical brain conjure up now?
What grounds for apprehension, you say? Heavens, are there not 1,000? I fear for Juliet's spirits, her health, her life.
So then, Falkland, if you were convinced that she were well and in spirits, you would be entirely content.
I should be happy beyond measure. I'm anxious only for that.
Oh, then to cure your anxiety at once, Miss Melville is in perfect health and is at this moment in Bath.
Nay, Jack, don't trifle with me.
No, she's arrived here with my father within this hour.
My dear Jack, now nothing on earth can give me a moment's uneasiness.
Sir, Mr. Eggers, just arrived, is below.
Stay, Falkland. This Acres lives a mile of Sir Anthony, with whom she was staying, and he shall tell you how your mistress has been ever since you left her. Boots, show the gentleman up.
What, is he much acquainted in the family?
Oh, very intimate. And you must stay. Besides, his character will divert you.
Well, I should like to ask him a few questions.
Oh, he is likewise a rival of mine, in love with Lydia. And it is amusing to hear him complain to me of one Beverley, a concealed, skulking rival who is no idea.
Yeah.
Ah, my dear friend, noble captain, and honest Jack, how dost thou? Just right, faith, as you see. Oh, sir, you're a humble servant. Warm work on the roads, Jack. Odds whips and wheels.
Bob, give me leave to introduce Mr. Falkland to you. Mr. Falkland, Mr. Acres.
Sir, I am most heartily glad to see you. Hey, Jack, what's this? This is Mr. Falkland who...
Aye, Bob. Miss Melville's Mr. Falkland.
Ah, Mr. Falkland, you are indeed a happy man.
I have not seen Miss Melville yet, sir. I hope she enjoyed full health and spirits in Devonshire.
Never knew her better in my life, sir. Never better. Odds, blushes, and blooms.
Indeed. I did hear she had been a little indisposed.
False, sir. Quite the reverse, I assure you.
There, Jack, you see he has the advantage of me. I'd almost fretted myself ill.
Now you are angry with your mistress for not having been sick.
Oh, no, you misunderstand me. Yet surely a little trifling indisposition is not an unnatural consequence of absence from those we love. Now, confess, isn't there something unkind in this violent, robust, unfeeling health?
Oh, it was very unkind of her to be well in your absence, to be sure.
Well, sir, but you were saying that Miss Melville has been exceedingly well. She's been all merry and gay, I suppose, always in spirits.
Merry odds crickets. She's been the belle and spirit of the company wherever she has been. So lively and entertaining, so full of wit and humor.
There, Jack, there! Oh, by my soul, there is an innate levity in woman that nothing can overcome. What? Happy? And I away?
Have done! God, how foolish this is. Just now you were only apprehensive for your mistress's spirits.
Well, why, Jack? Have I been in the joy and spirit of the company?
No, indeed you have not.
Or have I been lively and entertaining?
No, upon my word, I acquit you.
Have I been full of wit and humour?
No, Faith, to do you justice, you have been confoundedly boring, indeed.
What's the matter with the gentleman?
He's only expressing his great satisfaction at hearing Julia has been so well and happy. That's all, Falkland?
I am rejoiced to hear it, yes. Yes, she has a happy disposition.
That she has indeed. She is so accomplished, so sweet a voice, so expert at her harpsichord.
There again! You see, she has been all mirth and song, not a thought of me. Pray, Mr. What's his damn name? Do you remember what songs Miss Melville sang?
Not I indeed, odds. Now I recollect one of them. My heart's my own, my will is free.
Oh, fool that I am to fix all my happiness on such a trifler. She has been all health, spirits, laugh, song, dance. Oh, damn levity. I must leave you. I own I am somewhat flurried that confounded Luby has perceived it.
Nay, but stay, Falkland, and thank Mr. Akers for his good news.
Oh, damn his news. Oh,
Oh, poor Falkland, 5 minutes since. Nothing on earth could give him a moment's uneasiness.
The gentleman weren't angry at my praising his mistress, was he?
A little jealous, I believe, Bob.
You don't say so. Jealous of me, that's a good joke.
There's nothing strange in that, Bob. Let me tell you, that sprightly grace and insinuating manner of yours will do some mischief amongst the girls here.
Ah, you joke. Mischief. But you know, I am not my own man. My dear Lydia has changed me. She could never abide me in the country because I used to dress so badly. But I shall straightway cashier the hunting frock and render my leather breeches incapable. My hair has been in training for some time.
Indeed.
Aye, and thought the side curls are a little restive. My hind part takes it very kindly.
Ah, you'll polish, I doubt not.
Absolutely, I propose so. Then, if I can find out this Ensign Beverly, odds, triggers, and flints, I'll make him know what's what.
Oh, spoke like a man. But pray, Bob, I observe you've got an odd kind of new method of swearing.
You've taken notice of it. 'Tis genteel, isn't it? Dams have had their day.
Sir, there is a gentleman below desires to see you. Shall I show him into the parlour?
You may.
Well, I must be gone.
Stay. Who is it, Boots?
Your father, sir.
You puppy! Why didn't you show him up directly?
You have business with Sir Anthony. Adieu, Jack. We must meet at night when you shall propose me a dozen toasts to little Lydia.
That I will with all my heart. Oh, good. Now for a parental lecture. I hope he has heard nothing of the business that has brought me here. Sir, I am delighted to see you here looking so well. Your sudden arrival in Bath made me apprehensive for your health.
Very apprehensive, I dare say, Jack. What, you are recruiting here, hey?
Yes, sir. I'm on duty.
Well, Jack, I am glad to see you, though I did not expect it, for I was going to write you on a little matter of business. Jack, I've been considering that I grow old and infirm, and shall probably not trouble you long.
Pardon me, sir. I never saw you look more strong and hearty, and I pray frequently that you may continue so.
I hope your prayers may be heard with all my heart. Well then, Jack, I have been considering that I am so strong and hearty, I may continue to plague you for a long time. Now, Jack, I am sensible that the income of your commission in the army and what I have hitherto allowed you is but a small pittance for a lad of your spirit.
Sir, you are very good.
And it is my wish, while yet I live, to have my boy make some figure in the world. I have resolved, therefore, to fix you at once in a noble independence, and you shall be master of a large estate in a few weeks.
Oh, let my future life, sir, speak my gratitude. I cannot express the sense I have for your munificence, and yet, sir, I presume you would not wish me to quit the army.
Oh, that shall be as your wife chooses.
My wife, sir?
Aye, settle that between you. No, settle that between you.
A wife, sir, did you say?
Aye, a wife. Why, did I not mention her before?
No, not a word of her, sir.
Odd so. Well, I mustn't forget her, though. Yes, Jack, the independence I'm talking of is by marriage. The fortune is saddled with the wife, but I suppose that makes no difference.
Sir, sir, you amaze me.
Why, what's the devil the matter with the fool? Why, just now you were all gratitude and duty.
I was, sir. You talked to me of independence and a fortune, but not a word of a wife.
What difference does that make? Odds life, sir. If you have the estate, you must take it with the livestock on it, as it stands.
Pray, sir, who is the lady?
What is it to you, sir? Come, give me your promise to love and to marry her directly.
Sure, no, sir, this is not very reasonable, to summon my affections for a lady I know nothing of.
I am sure, sir, 'tis more unreasonable in you to object to a lady you know nothing of.
Well then, sir, I must tell you plainly that my inclinations are fixed on another. My heart is engaged to an angel.
Then pray, let it send an excuse.
You must excuse me, sir, if I tell you once and for all that in this point I cannot obey you.
Hark ye, Jack. I have heard you for some time with patience. I have been cool, quite cool, but take care. You know I am compliance itself when I am not thwarted. No one more easily led when I have my own way. But don't put me in a frenzy.
Sir, I must repeat it. In this, I cannot obey you.
Now damn me, if I ever call you Jack while I live.
Oh, nay, sir, upon my word.
Don't
you
provoke me. Oh, you rely on the mildness of my temper, do you? You play on the meekness of my disposition. But mark, I give you 6 hours and a half to consider this. If you can agree without any condition to do anything on earth that I choose, why, confound you, I may in time forgive you. If not, zoons, don't enter the same hemisphere with me. Don't dare to breathe the same air or use the same light with me, but get an atmosphere and a sun of your own. I'll disown you. I'll disinherit you. I'll unget you. And damn me, if I ever call you Jack again.
Mild, gentle, considerate father. What a tender method of giving his opinions in these matters Sir Anthony has. I dare not trust him with the truth. And I wonder what wealthy old hag it is he wants to bestow on me.
So, I shall have another rival to add to my mistress's list. Captain Absolute. However, I shall not enter his name till my purse has received notice in form. Poor Acres is dismissed. Sir Lucius is generally more punctual when he expects to hear from his dear Delia, as he calls her. I wonder he's not here. I have a little scruple of conscience from this deceit, though, for I should not be paid so well if my hero knew that Delia was over 50.
Oh, my little ambassadress.
Yes.
Well, me girl, have you got something for me?
Yes, but I've got a letter for you in my pocket.
Oh, fate, I guess you weren't come empty-handed. Well, let me see what the dear creature says.
There, Sir Lucius.
Sir, there is often a sudden impulse in love. Such was the commotion I felt at the first superfluous view of Sir Lucius O'Trigger. Well, very pretty indeed, upon my word. Female punctuation forbids me to say more, yet let me add that it will give me joy infinite, infallible, to find Sir Lucius worthy the last criterion of my affections. Delia, upon my conscience, Lucy, your lady is a great mistress of language. She's quite the queen of the dictionary.
Aye, sir, a lady of her experience.
Experience? What, at 20?
Oh, true, sir. But then she reads so, my stars.
Well, faith, she must be very deep read to write this way.
Sir Lucius, if you were to hear how she talks of you.
Oh, tell her I'll make her the best husband in the world. And Lady O'Trigger into the bargain. But we must get the old gentlewoman's consent and do everything fairly.
Nay, Sir Lucius, I thought you weren't rich enough to be so particular.
Upon my word, young woman, you have hit it. I am poor. And if I did not want money, I'd steal your mistress and her fortune with a great deal of pleasure. However, my pretty girl, here's a little something to buy you a ribbon.
Oh, Lord, Sir Lucius, I never seed such a gentleman. Oh, here is someone coming.
Oh, then I'll be gone.
So, ma'am, I humbly beg pardon.
Oh, Lord! Now, Mr. Boots, you flurry one so.
Come, Lucy. Here's no one by, so a little less simplicity with a grain or two more sincerity, if you please. What says our young lady? Any message from my master?
Bad news, Mr. Boots. A worse rival than Bob Acres. Sir Anthony Absolute has proposed his son.
What? An absolute?
Even so, I overheard it all.
Very good. Faith. Goodbye, Lucy. I must away with this news.
Well, you may laugh, but it is true, I assure you. But, Mr. Boots, tell your master not to be cast down by this.
Oh, he'll be so disconsolate.
And charge him not to think of quarrelling with young Absolute. Be sure, bid him to keep up his spirits.
Never fear, never fear.
'Tis just as Boots told me indeed. My father wants to force me to marry the very girl I'm plotting to run away with. I must not know of my connection with her yet a while. However, I'll offer him my recantation instantly. My conversion is something sudden indeed, but I can assure him it is very sincere. So here he comes. He looks plaguey gruff.
No, I'll die sooner than forgive him. Die, did I say? No, I'll live 50 years to plague him. Oh, all obstinate, passionate, self-willed boy. Oh, who can he take after? Oh, but I've done with him. He's anybody's son for me. I will never see him more. Never, never, never.
Now for a penitential face.
Oh, fellow, get out of my way.
Sir, you see a penitent before you.
I see an impudent scoundrel before me.
No, a sincere penitent I am come, sir, to acknowledge my error and to submit entirely to your will.
What's that?
I've been revolving and reflecting and considering on your past goodness and kindness and condescension to me.
Well, sir?
I've been likewise weighing and balancing what you were pleased to mention concerning duty and obedience and authority.
Well, puppy?
Why then, sir, the result of my reflection is a resolution to sacrifice every inclination of my own to your satisfaction.
Why, now you talk sense! Absolute sense! I have never heard anything more sensible in my life. Confound you! You shall be Jack again!
I am happy in the appellation.
Why then, Jack, my dear Jack, I will now inform you who the lady really is. Nothing but your passion and violence, you silly fellow, prevented my telling you at first. Prepare, Jack, for wonder and rapture. Prepare. What think you of Miss Lydia Languish?
Languish? What, the languishes of Worcestershire?
Worcestershire? No. Did you never meet Mrs. Malaprop and her niece, Miss Languish, who came to our country just before you were last ordered to your regiment?
Malaprop, Languish? I don't remember ever to have heard these names before.
Oh, Jack, what think you of blooming, love-breathing 20?
As to that, sir, I am quite indifferent. If I can please you in the matter, 'tis all I desire.
Nay, but Jack, oh, such eyes, so innocently wild, so bashfully irresolute. Not a glance but speaks and kindles some thought of love.
That she is indeed. Well done, gentlemen. And which is to be mine, the niece or the aunt?
Why, you unfeeling, insensible puppy, I despise you. When I was your age, such a description would have made me fly like a rocket. The aunt, indeed, odds life. When I ran away with your mother, I would not have touched anything old or ugly to gain an empire.
Not to please your father, sir?
To please my father? Oh, soon. Not to, my father, art so. Yes, my if my father had desire, well, that's another matter. Though he wasn't the indulgent father that I am, Jack.
I dare say not, sir.
But, Jack, you are not sorry to find your mistress is so beautiful.
Sir, I repeat it, if I please you in the affair, 'tis all I desire.
Upon my word, Jack, thou art either a great hypocrite or you've been lying, haven't you? You've been playing the hypocrite, eh?
I am sorry, sir, that the respect and duty which I bear you should be so mistaken.
Hang your respect and duty, but come along with me. I'll write a note to Mrs. Malaprop, and you shall visit the lady directly. No, I'll never forgive you if you don't come back stark mad with rapture and impatience. If you don't, egad, I will marry the girl myself.
They told me Julia will return directly. I wonder she has not yet come. How mean does this fault-finding, unsatisfied temper of mine appear to my cooler judgment? She is coming. Yes, I know the nimbleness of her tread when she thinks her impatient Falkland counts the moments of her stay.
I had not hoped to see you again so soon.
Could I, Julia, be contented with my first welcome, restrained as we were by the presence of a third person?
Oh, Falkland, when your kindness can make me thus happy, let me not think that I discovered something of coldness in your first salutation.
It was but your fancy, Julia. I was rejoiced to see you in such health. Sure I had no cause for coldness.
Nay, then I see you have taken something ill. You must not conceal from me what it is.
Well then, I shall own to you that my joy of hearing of your health and arrival here by your neighbour, Mr. Acres, was somewhat dampened by his dwelling much on the high spirits you had enjoyed in Devonshire, on your mirth, your singing, dancing, and
Can the idle reports of a silly ball weigh in your breast against my tried affections?
They have no weight with me, Julia. No. I am happy if you have been so. Yet only say that you did not sing with mirth. Say that you thought of Falkland in the dance.
I never can be happy in your absence. If I wear a countenance of content, it is to show that my minds hold no doubt of my Falkland's truth. Believe me, Falkland, I mean not to upbraid you when I say that I have often dressed sorrow in smiles, lest my friends should guess whose unkindness had caused my tears.
You were ever all goodness to me. Oh, I am a brute when I admit a doubt of your true constancy.
If ever you find my affections veering but a point, may I become a proverbial scorn for levity and base ingratitude.
Ingratitude? Oh, Julia, that word is grating to me. I would had no title to your gratitude. Search your heart, Julia. Perhaps what you have mistaken for love is but the warm effusion of a too thankful heart.
I see you are determined to be unkind. The contract which my poor father bound us in gives you more than a lover's privilege.
Again, Julia, you raise ideas that feed and justify my doubts. How shall I be sure, had you not been contracted to me by your father, that you would have loved me still?
Then try me now. Let us be free as strangers to what is past. My heart will not feel more liberty.
There now. So hasty. Julia, so anxious to be free.
Oh, torture me to the heart. I cannot bear it. I have given you no cause for this.
But, in tears? Oh, stay, Julia, but a moment. The door is fastened. Julia, my soul, but for one moment. I hear her sobbing. 'Sdeath, what a brute I am to use her thus. Yet stay. Aye, she is coming now. How little resolution there is in a woman. How a few soft words can turn them. No, faith. She is not coming either. Stay! She is coming too. I thought she would. No steadiness in anything. Her going away must have been a mere trick. She shan't see that I am hurt by it. I'll affect indifference. No, soon she is not coming, nor doesn't intend to, I suppose. This is not steadiness, but obstinacy. Yet I deserve it. What, after so long an absence, to quarrel with her tenderness? 'Twas barbarous and unmanly. I'll wait till her just resentment is abated, and when I distress her so again, may I lose her forever.
Your being Sir Anthony's son, Captain, would itself be a sufficient accommodation, but from the ingenuity of your appearance, I am convinced you deserve the character here given of you.
Permit me to say, madam, that as I never yet have had the pleasure of seeing Miss Languish, my principal inducement in this affair at present is the honour of being allied to Mrs. Malaprop, of whose intellectual accomplishments, elegant manners, and unaffected learning no tongue is silent.
So you do me infinite honour. You overpower me with good breeding. He is the very pineapple of politeness. You are not ignorant, Captain, that this giddy girl has somehow contrived to fix her affections on a beggarly strolling ensign whom none of us have seen and nobody knows anything of.
Oh, I have heard of the silly affair before. I'm not at all prejudiced against her on that account.
You are very good and very considerate, Captain. I am sure if I have done everything in my power since I exploded the affair long ago, I laid my positive conjunctions on her never to think of the fellow again. I have since laid Sir Anthony's preposition before her, but I am sorry to say she seems resolved to decline every particle that I enjoin her.
It must be very distressing indeed, ma'am.
Oh, indeed, it gives me the hydrostatics to such a degree. I thought she had persisted from corresponding with him, but behold, this very day I have interceded another letter from the fellow. I believe I have it in my pocket.
Oh, the devil, that's my last note.
Here it is.
Oh, aye, that is my note indeed. Oh, little traitorous Lucy!
There, perhaps. You may know the writing.
I think I have seen the hand before. Yes, I certainly must have seen this hand before.
Nay, but read it, Captain.
My soul's idol, my adored Lydia, very tender indeed. I am excessively alarmed at the intelligence you send me, the more so as my new rival...
That's you, sir?
Has universally the character of being an accomplished gentleman and a man of honour. Well, that's handsome enough.
Oh, the fellow has some design in writing so.
That he had, and I'll answer for him.
But go on, sir. You'll see presently.
As for the old weather-beaten she-dragon who guards you, now, who can he mean by that?
Me, sir. He means me. There, what do you think now? But go on a little further.
Impudent scoundrel! Oh, I will easily elude her vigilance, as I am told that the same ridiculous vanity which makes her dress up her coarse features and deck her dull chat with hard words which she don't understand.
There, sir! An attack upon my language. What do you think of that? An aspersion on my parts of speech? Was ever such a brute? Sure, if I reprehend anything in this world, it is the use of my oracular tongue, a nice derangement of epitaphs.
He deserves to be hanged and quartered. Now, let me see. The same ridiculous vanity...
You need not read it again, sir.
Oh, I beg your pardon, ma'am. Does also lay her open to the grossest deceptions from flattery and pretend admiration, an impudent coxcomb. So that I have a scheme to see you shortly with the old Harridan's consent, and even to make her a go-between in our interview. Was ever such an assurance?
Did you ever hear anything like it? He'll elude my vigilance, will he? Yes, yes. He's very likely to enter these doors. We'll try who can plot best.
So we will, ma'am. So we will. Well, but Mrs. Malaprop, as the girl seems so infatuated by this fellow, suppose you were to turn a blind eye to her corresponding with him for a little time. Let her even plot an elopement with him. Then do you connive at her escape, which I, just in the nick, will have the fellow arrested and fairly contrive to carry her off in his
I am delighted with the scheme. Never was anything better perpetrated.
But pray, could not I see the lady for a few minutes now? I should like to try her temper a little.
Lydia, come down here. He'll make me a go-between in their interviews, will he? Come down, I say, Lydia! Jack, I don't wonder at your laughing, sir. The little hussy won't hear. Well, I'll go and tell her at once who it is. She shall know that Captain Absolute is to come to wait on her, and I'll make her behave as becomes a young woman.
As you please, ma'am.
For the present, Captain, your servant. Ah, you've not done laughing yet, I see. My vigilance, yes.
Oh, my. One would think now that I might throw off all disguise at once and seize my prize with security. But such is Lydia's caprice that to undeceive her were probably to lose her. I'll see whether she knows me.
What a scene am I now to go through? Surely nothing can be more dreadful than to be obligated to listen to the loathsome addresses of a stranger to one's heart. There stands the hated rival, an officer too, but oh, how unlike my Beverley. I wonder he don't begin. Truly, he seems a very negligent wooer. Quite at his ease, upon my word. I'll speak first. Mr. Absolute.
Yes, ma'am.
Heavens! Beverley!
Hush, my life, softly, be not surprised.
Oh, I'm so astonished and so terrified and so overjoyed. For heaven's sake, how came you here?
Briefly, I have deceived your aunt. I was informed that my new rival was to visit here this evening, and contriving to have him kept away, I have passed myself off on her for Captain Absolute.
Oh, charming. And she really takes you for young Absolute.
Oh, she's convinced of it. But we trifle with our precious moments. Such another opportunity may not occur. Then let me now beg you to fix the time when I may rescue you from undeserving persecution and plead for my reward.
Will you then, Beverley, consent to forfeit that portion of my paltry wealth?
Oh, come to me, rich only thus in loveliness. Bring no wealth to me but thy love.
How persuasive are his words! How charming will poverty be with him!
If she holds out now, the devil is in it.
Now I could fly with him to the Antipodes.
I am impatient to know how the little hussy deports herself.
So pensive, Lydia, is then your warmth abated?
Warmth abated? So she has been in a passion, I suppose.
No, nor ever can be while I have life.
Ill-tempered little devil. She'll be in a passion all her life, will she?
Think not the idle threats of my ridiculous aunt can ever have any weight with me.
Very dutiful, upon my word.
Let her choice be Captain Absolute, but Beverley is mine.
I'm astonished at her assurance. To his face! This is to his face!
Thus, then let me enforce my suit.
Aye, poor young man, down on his knees, entreating for pity. I can contain no longer. Why, thou vixen, I have overheard you.
Oh, confound her vigilance!
Captain Absolute, I know not how to apologize for her shocking rudeness.
Oh, so all safe, I find. I have hopes, madam, that time will bring the young lady.
Oh, there's nothing to be hoped for from her. She's as headstrong as an allegory on the banks of the Nile.
Nay, madam, what do you charge me with now?
You unblushing rebel, didn't you tell this gentleman to his face that you loved another better? Didn't you say you never would be his?
No, madam, I did not.
Good heavens, what assurance! Lydia, you ought to know that lying don't become a young woman. Didn't you boast that Beverley, that stroller Beverley, possessed your heart? Tell me that, I say.
'Tis true, ma'am, and none but Beverley.
Hold! Assurance shall not be so rude.
Pray, Mrs. Malaprop, don't stop the young lady's speech. She's very welcome to talk thus. It does not hurt me in the least, I assure you.
You are too good, Captain. You too amiably patient. But come with me, miss. I'll see you again soon, Captain. Remember what we have fixed.
I shall, ma'am.
Come, take a leave of the gentleman.
May every blessing wait on my Beverley, my loved Beverley.
Hussy, I'll choke the word in your throat. Come along. Come along.
And now, Act 2 of The Rivals.
You are quite another creature, believe me, master, by the mass.
Indeed, David. Do you think I become it so? Dress does make a difference, David.
Difference? Why, and you were to go back to Claude Hall. I'm certain the old lady wouldn't know you. Oons, I'll wager there ain't a dog in the house but would bark.
Aye, David. There's nothing like polishing.
So I says of your honour's boots, but the boy never eats me.
But, David, go and see if there are any letters for me at the post office.
I will. Oh, here's Sir Lucius O'Trigger to wait on you, sir.
Oh, show him in.
Mr. Akers, I am delighted to embrace you.
My dear Sir Lucius, I kissed your hands.
Pray, me friend, what has brought you so suddenly to Bath?
Faith, I have followed Cupid's jack-o'-lantern and find myself in a quagmire. In short, I don't choose to mention names, but look on me as on a very ill-used gentleman.
Pray, what is the case? I ask no names.
Mark me, Sir Lucius, I fall as deep as need be in love with a young lady. Her friends take my part, I follow her to Bath, send word of my arrival, and receive answer that the lady is to be otherwise disposed of. This, Sir Lucius, I call being ill-used.
Very ill upon me conscience. Pray, can you divine the cause of it?
Why, there's the matter. She has another lover, one Beverley, who I'm told is now in Bath. Odd slanders and lies, he must be at the bottom of it.
A rival in the case, is there? And you think he has supplanted you unfairly?
Unfairly? To be sure he has. He never could have done it fairly.
Then sure you know what is to be done.
And as I upon my soul.
Oh, well, we wear no swords here, but you understand me.
What, fight him?
Aye, to be sure. What else?
But he has given me no provocation.
Oh, now, I think he has given you the greatest provocation in the world. Can a man commit a more heinous offence against another than to fall in love with the same woman? Oh, by me soul, it is the most unpardonable breach of friendship.
Breach of friendship? Aye, but I have no acquaintance with this man. I never saw him in my life.
Well, that's no argument at all. He has the less right then to make such a liberty.
God, that's true. I grow full of anger, Sir Lucius. I fire apace. Odds else and blades, I find a man may have a deal of valour in him and not know it. Odds flints and triggers, I'll challenge him directly.
Ah, my little friend, if I had the portraits from Blunderbuss Hall here, I could show you a range of ancestry in the O'Trigger line. Every one of them who killed his man.
Oh, Sir Lucius, I have had ancestors too. Odds, balls and barrels, say no more. I'm braced for it. The thunder of your words has soured the milk of human kindness in my breast. Zooms, as the man in the place says, I could do such deeds.
Come, there must be no passion at all in the case. These things should always be done civilly.
Dear Sir Lucius, let me be in a rage if you love me. Come, here's pen and paper. I think we need the red ink. We're red. How shall I begin? Odds, bullets and blades. Shall I begin with an oath? Do, Sir Lucius, let me begin with a damn.
No, do the thing decently and like a Christian. Begin now, sir.
That's too civil by half.
To prevent the confusion that might arise.
Yes, well.
From our both addressing the same lady.
Aye, there's the reason. Same lady. Well.
I shall expect the honour of your company.
I'm not asking him to dinner.
To settle our pretensions.
Well.
Let me see. Kingsmead Fields will do. In Kingsmead Fields.
So that's done.
You see, now this little explanation will put a stop at once to all confusion or misunderstanding that might arise between you.
Aye, we fight to prevent any misunderstanding.
Now, I'll leave you to fix your own time. Take my advice, and you'll decide it this evening if you can. Then let the worst come of it. You'll be off your mind tomorrow.
Then by the mass, sir, I would do no such thing. Ne'er Sir Lucius or Trigger in the kingdom should make me fight when I wasn't so minded. Oons, what would the old lady say when she hears of it?
But David, now you don't think there is such very, very, very great danger, eh? Odds life, people often fight without any mischief done.
By the mass, I think 'tis 10 to 1 against you. Lord bless us, it makes me tremble to think of it. I suppose there ain't been so merciless a beast in the world as your loaded pistol.
Zoons, I won't be afraid. Odds, fire, and fury, you shan't make me afraid. Here is the challenge. And I've sent for my dear friend Jack Absolute to carry it for me.
By the mass, it don't look like any other letter. It is, as I may say, a designing and malicious-looking letter, and I warrant smells of gunpowder like a soldier's pouch. Hoons, I wouldn't swear it mayn't go off.
Ouch, you poltroon, you hadn't the valor of a grasshopper.
Well, I say no more. 'Twill be sad news to be sure at Clad Hall. Well, heaven sent we'll all be alive this time tomorrow.
What's that? Don't provoke me, David.
Goodbye, master.
Get along, you cowardly, dastardly, croaking raven.
What's the matter, Bob?
A vile, sheep-hearted blockhead, if I hadn't the valor of St. George and the dragon to boot.
But what did you want with me, Bob?
Oh, there.
Oh, to Ensign Beverley. So what is going on now? Well, what is this?
A challenge.
Indeed. Why, you won't fight him, will you, Bob?
Egad, but I will, Jack. Sir Lucius has brought me to it. He has left me full of rage, and I'll fight this evening, and so much good passion mayn't be wasted.
But what have I to do with this?
Why, as I think you know something of this fellow, I want you to find him for me and give him this mortal defiance.
Well, leave it with me, and trust me, he gets it.
Thank you, my dear friend, my dear Jack, but it is giving you a great deal of trouble.
Not in the least, no trouble in the world, I assure you.
You are very kind. What it is to have a friend. You couldn't be my second, could you, Jack?
Why, no, Bob. Not in this affair. It would not be quite so proper.
Well, then I must get my friend Sir Lucius. I shall have your good wishes, however, Jack.
Whenever he meets you, believe me. Well, my little hero, success attend you.
Stay, Jack. If Beverly should ask you what kind of man your friend Akers is, do tell him I am a devil of a fellow, will you, Jack?
To be sure I shall. I'll say you're a determined dog, eh, Bob?
Do. And if that frightens him, egad, perhaps he mayn't come. So tell him I generally kill a man a week, will you, Jack?
Oh, I will. I'll say you were called in the country fighting, Bob.
Right. Did all to prevent mischief, right? I don't want to take his life if I clear my honor.
Oh, no, that's very kind of you.
Remember, Jack, a determined dog.
Aye, fighting Bob.
Why, thou perverse one, tell me what you can object to him. Isn't he a handsome man? Tell me that. A genteel man, a pretty figure of a man.
She little thinks whom she is praising, and how enraged she'll be presently when she discovers her mistake.
Sir Anthony and Captain Absolute are below, ma'am.
Show them up here. Now, Lydia, I insist on your behaving as becomes a young woman. Now, show your good breeding, at least, as though you have forgot your duty.
Madam, I have told you my resolution. I shall not only give him no encouragement, but I won't even speak to or look at him.
Here we are, Mrs. Malaprop. Difficulty enough I had to bring this fellow. I don't know what's the matter, but I had not brought him by force. He'd have given me the slip.
Infinite trouble, Sir Anthony, in the affair. I am ashamed for the cause. Lydia, rise, I beseech you. Pay your respects.
I hope, madam, that Miss Language has reflected on the worth of this gentleman and the regard due to her aunt's choice and my alliance. Now, Jack, speak to her.
What the devil shall I do? You see, sir, she won't even look at me whilst you are here. I knew she wouldn't, and I told you so. Now, let me entreat you, sir, to leave us together.
I wonder I hadn't heard my aunt exclaim yet. sure she can't have looked at him. Perhaps the uniforms are alike. She is something short-sighted.
I say, sir, I won't stir a foot yet.
I'm sorry to say, Sir Anthony, that my affluence over my niece is very small. Turn around, Lydia. I blush for you.
I think my lover seems as little inclined to conversation as myself. How strangely blind my aunt must be.
Madam. No, fair, sir. I'm so confounded and so confused. And I told you I should be so, sir. I knew it, and the tremor of my passion entirely takes away my presence of mind.
But it doesn't take away your voice, fool, does it? But go up, speak to her directly.
Now, pray heaven, she may be too sullen to look around. I must disguise my voice. Will not mislanguish, Lydia, to the mild accents of true love. Will not.
What the devil ails the fellow? Will you not speak out and not stand croaking like a frog in a quinsy?
So the excess of my modesty quite chokes me.
On modesty again, I tell you what, Jack. If you don't speak out directly, and glibly too, I shall be in such a rage. Well, Mrs. Malaprop, I wish the lady would favor us with something more than a profile.
Lydia, be not surprised, my Lydia. Suppress all surprise at present.
It is Beverley's voice. Sure he cannot have imposed on Sir Anthony too. Is this possible? My Beverley! How can this be? My Beverley?
Oh, 'tis all over.
Beverley? The devil, Beverley? What does the girl mean? This is my son, Jack Absolute.
For shame, hussy, for shame. Your head runs so on that fellow that you always have him in your eyes. Beg Captain Absolute's pardon directly.
I see no Captain Absolute, but my loved Beverley.
Zoons! The girl's mad. Her brain's turned by...
Oh, my conscience, I believe so. What do you mean by Beverley, hussy? You saw Captain Absolute before today. There he is, your husband that shall be.
With all my soul, ma'am. When I refuse my Beverley...
Oh, she's as mad as Bedlam. Or has this fellow been playing us a rogue's trick? Come here, sir. Who the devil are you?
Faith, sir. I'm not quite clear myself, but I'll endeavour to recollect.
Are you my son or not? Answer for your mother, you dog, if you don't for me.
Aye, sir. Who are you? Mercy, I begin to suspect.
Ye powers of impudence befriend me. Sir Anthony, most assuredly I am your son, and that I sincerely believe myself to be yours also. I hope my duty has always been shown. Mrs. Malaprop, I am your most respectful admirer, and shall be proud to add affectionate nephew. I need not tell my Lydia that she sees her faithful Beverley, who assumed that name and rank.
No, there will be no elopement after all.
Upon my soul, Jack, thou art a very impudent fellow. Oh, I am glad you're not the dull, insensitive varlet you pretended to be, however. I am glad you made a fool of me, of your father, you dog. No, I am. So this was your penitence, your duty and obedience. Oh, I thought it was damn sudden. If you would please me in this affair is all that you desired. Oh, you dissembling villain. Why, you hypocritical young rascal. I wonder you aren't ashamed to hold up your head.
Is with difficulty, sir.
Oh, Lord, Sir Anthony. A new light breaks in upon me. Oh, hey, how? What? Captain, did you write the letters to me, then? What? Am I to thank you for the elegant compilation of an old weather-beaten she-dragon? Hey-ho, mercy! Was it you that reflected upon my parts of speech?
Come, Mrs. Malaprop, we must forget and forgive. Aunt life matters have taken so clever a turn all of a sudden that I could find it in my heart to be so good-humoured and so gallant. Hey, Mrs. Malaprop.
Well, Sir Anthony, since you desire it, we will not anticipate the past. Our retrospection shall be all to the future.
Come, let us leave them together, Mrs. Malaprop. They long to fly into each other's arms, I warrant. Oh, permit me, ma'am. I should Tardarol, God. I should like to have a little fooling myself. Tardarol.
So much thought bodes me no good. So grave, Lydia.
Sir.
So egad, I thought as much. The damned monosyllable has froze me. Oh, my love, be not so unkind, thus let me entreat you.
What signifies kneeling when you know I must have you?
Nay, no, madam, there shall be no constraint upon your inclinations. I promise you, if I have lost your heart, I resign the rest. Gad, I must try what a little spirit will do.
Then, sir, let me tell you, the interest you had there was acquired by a mean, unmanly imposition and deserves the punishment of fraud. What you have been treating me like a child, humouring my romance and laughing, I suppose, at your success.
No, you wronged me, Lydia. You wronged me. Only here,
Well, I fondly imagined we were deceiving my relations and flattered myself that I should outwit and incense them all. Behold, my hopes are to be crushed at once by my aunt's consent and approbation, and I am myself the only dupe, as it turns out. But here, sir, here is the picture, Beverley's picture, which I have worn night and day in spite of threats and entreaties. There, sir. And be assured I throw the original from my heart as easily.
We must interrupt your billing and cooing a while.
This is worse than your treachery and deceit, you base ingrate.
What's the matter now? Zoons, Mrs. Malaprop. This is the oddest billing and cooing I've ever heard. But what the deuce is the meaning of it? I'm quite astonished.
Ask the lady, sir.
Why, Lydia, what's the reason of this?
Gentlemen, ma'am.
Oh, zoons! I shall be in a frenzy. Why, Jack, you have not come out to be someone else, are you?
There's no more trick, is there? You are not like Cerberus, 3 gentlemen at once, are you?
Not let me speak. I say the lady can account for this much better than I can.
Ma'am, you commanded me never to think of Beverley again. There is the man, and I obey you. From this moment, I renounce him forever.
Oh, mercy and miracles, what a turn is here. Why, surely, Captain, you haven't behaved disrespectfully to my niece.
Now I see it. Now I see it. You have been too lively, Jack.
Nay, no, sir, upon my word.
Come, no excuses, Jack. Why, your father, you rogue, was just the same. The blood of the absolutes was always impatient. Oh, poor little Lydia. Why, you frightened her, you dog, you have.
By all that's good,
Oh, you must make his peace, Mrs. Malaprop. Tell her it runs in the blood of our family. Come away, Jack. Oh, Mrs. Malaprop, a young villain.
Oh, Sir Anthony. Oh, hi, Captain.
I wonder where this Captain Absolute hides himself. Upon me conscience. These officers are always in one's way in love affairs. I remember I might have married Lady Dorothy Carmine if it had not been for a little rogue of a major who ran away with her before she could get sight of me. Aha! Isn't this the captain coming? Well, faith, it is. There's a probability of us succeeding about that fellow. That is mighty provoking.
What a fine purpose I have been plotting.
Who the devil is he talking to?
A noble reward for all my schemes, upon my soul. I did not think her romantic notions could have made her so damned absurd either. I mean, 'tis death. I've never been in a worse humour in my life.
Oh, fate, I'm in the luck of it. I never could have found him in a sweeter temper for my purpose. To be sure, I'm just coming in the nick. Now, to enter into conversation with him, and so quarrel genteelly. With regard to that matter, Captain, I must beg leave to differ in opinion with you.
Upon my word, then you must be a very subtle disputant. Because I happened just then to be giving no opinion at all.
Oh, that's no reason. Forgive me leave to tell you, a man may think an untruth as well as speak one.
Very true, sir. But if a man never utters his thoughts, I should think they might stand a chance of escaping controversy.
Then, sir, you differ in opinion with me, which amounts to the same thing.
Harkee, Sir Lucius, if I had not before known you to be a gentleman, upon my soul, I should not have discovered it at this interview. For what you can drive at, unless you mean to quarrel with me, I cannot conceive.
I humbly thank you, sir, for the quickness of your apprehension. You have named the very thing I would be at.
Very well, sir. I shall certainly not balk at your inclinations, but I should be glad for you to at least explain your motives.
Pray, sir, be easy. The quarrel is a very pretty quarrel as it stands. We should only spoil it by trying to explain it. So, no more, but name your time and place.
Well, sir, since you are so bent on it, the sooner the better.
And it's the same with you, Captain. I should take it as a particular kindness if you'd let us meet in King's Mead Fields, as a little business will call me there about 6 o'clock, and I may dispatch both matters at once.
A little after 6, then, we will discuss the matter more seriously.
So, that matter's settled, and me mind's at ease.
Oh, well met, I was looking for you. Oh, Falkland, all the demons of spite and disappointment have conspired against me. I was so vexed that if I had not the prospect of resource of being knocked over the head by and by in a duel with Sir Lucius O'Trigger, I should scarce have spirits to tell you the cause.
What can you mean, a duel? And has Lydia changed her mind? I'm sorry for it, but I am myself a great deal ruffled by a difference I've had with Julia. My vile, tormenting temper has made me treat her so cruelly that I shall not be myself till we are reconciled.
By heavens, Falkland, you do not deserve her.
Oh, Jack. This is from Julia. I dread to open it. I fear it may be to take a last leave, or perhaps bid me a return of her letters and restore. Oh, how I suffer for my folly.
Here, let me see it. Aye, final sentence indeed. 'Tis all over for you, Faith.
Hey, Jack, don't keep me in suspense.
Here then. As I am convinced that my dear Falkland's own reflections have already upbraided him for his last unkindness to me, I will not add a word on the subject. I wish to speak with you as soon as possible. Yours ever and truly, Julia. There's stubbornness and resentment for you. Why, sir, you don't seem the least bit happier at this.
Oh yes, I am. But...
Confound your buts! I mean, you never hear anything that would make another man bless himself, but you immediately damn it with a bat.
Well now, Jack, as you are my friend, own honestly, don't you think there is something forward, something indelicate in this haste to forgive? Women they should never sue for reconciliation.
I have no patience to listen to you, so say no more on the subject. And poor industrious devil like me, who have toiled and drudged and plodded to gain my ends, and am at last disappointed by other people's folly, may, in pity, be allowed to swear and grumble a little. But a fault-finding skeptic in love, a slave to fretfulness and whim, who has no difficulties but his own creating, is a subject more fit for ridicule than compassion.
I feel his reproaches, yet his duel has started an idea in my head, which I will instantly pursue. I'll use it as the touchstone of Julia's sincerity and disinterestedness.
This message has alarmed me. What dreadful accident can he mean? Why such charge to be alone? Oh, Falkland, how many unhappy moments, how many tears have you cost me? What means this? Why this caution, Falkland?
Alas, Julia, I have come to take a long farewell.
Heavens, what do you mean?
You see before you a wretch, a life whose life is forfeited. Nay, stop not. The infirmity of my temper has drawn all this misery on me. I left you fretful and passionate. An untoward accident drew me into a quarrel. The event is that I must fly this kingdom instantly. Julia, had I been so fortunate as to have called you mine entirely, before this mischance had fallen on me, I should not so deeply dread my banishment.
My soul is oppressed with sorrow at the nature of your misfortune, but my heart has long known no other guardian. I now entrust my person to your honor. We will fly together. When safe from pursuit, my father's will may be fulfilled, and I receive a legal claim to be the partner of your sorrows and tenderest comforter.
Oh, Julia, I am bankrupt in gratitude. But the time is so pressing, it calls on you for so hasty a resolution. Would you not wish some hours to weigh the advantages you forego, and what little compensation poor Falkland can make to you, besides his solitary love?
I ask not a moment. No, Falkland, I have loved you for yourself. Perhaps your fortune may be forfeited by this unhappy act. I know not whether 'tis so. But sure that alone can never make us unhappy. The little I have will be sufficient to support us, and exile never should be splendid.
Aye, but in such an abject state of life, my wounded pride perhaps may increase the natural fretfulness of my temper.
Your thoughts should assume so unhappy a bent. You will the more want some mild and affectionate spirit to watch over you and console you. One who, by bearing your infirmities with gentleness and resignation, may teach you so to bear the evils of your fortune.
Julia, I have proved you to the quick, and with this useless device I throw away all my doubts. How shall I plead to be forgiven this last unworthy effect of my restless, unsatisfied disposition?
Has no disaster happened as you related?
I am ashamed to own that it was pretended. Yet, in pity, Julia, do not kill me with resenting a fault which can never be repeated, but sealing this once my pardon, let me tomorrow in the face of heaven receive my future guide and monitress, and expiate my past folly by years of tender adoration.
Hold, Falkland, that you are free from a crime, which I before feared to name. Heaven knows how sincerely I rejoice. But that your cruel doubts should have urged you to an imposition that has wrung my heart gives me now a pang more keen than I can express.
By heavens, Julia!
Yet hear me, my father loved you, Falkland, and you preserved the life that tender parent gave me. In his presence I pledged my hand, joyfully pledged it, where before I had given my heart. When soon after I lost that parent, it seemed to me that Providence had in Falkland shown me whither to transfer without a pause my grateful duty as well as my affection. Hence I have been content to bear from you what pride and delicacy would have forbid me from another. I will not upbraid you by repeating how you have trifled with my sincerity.
I confess it all.
After such a year of trial, I might have flattered myself that I should not have been insulted with a new test of my sincerity, as cruel as unnecessary. I now see it is not in your nature to be content or confident in love. With this conviction, I never will be yours.
Nay, Julia, my soul, an honour, if after this...
One word more. All I request of you is that you will yourself reflect upon this, and when you number up the many true delights it has deprived you of, let it not be your least regret that it lost you the love of one who would have followed you in beggary through the world.
She's gone. Forever. There was an awful resolution in her manner that riveted me to my place. Oh, fool, dolt, barbarian! Cursed I am, with more imperfections than my fellow wretches. Kind fortune sent me a heaven-gifted cherub to be my aid, and like a ruffian, I have driven her from my side. Oh,
Oh, Julia, I am come to you with such an appetite for consolation. You know who Beverley proves to be.
I will now own to you, Lydia, that Mr. Falkland had before informed me of the whole affair.
So then I see I have been deceived by everyone. But I don't care, I'll never have him.
Oh, Lydia!
Oh, Lord, what has brought my aunt here?
So here's fine work, fine suicide and parricide going on in the fields, and that Sir Anthony not to be found to present the antistrophe.
For heaven's sake, madam, what's the meaning of this?
That gentleman can tell you, 'twas he enveloped the affair to me.
Do so, will you inform us?
Ma'am, I should hold myself very deficient in every requisite that forms the man of breeding if I delayed a moment to give all the information in my power. For should we be tedious, perhaps while we are flourishing on the subject, 2 or 3 lives may be lost.
Patience! Do, ma'am, for heaven's sake, tell us what is the matter.
My murder's the matter, slaughter's the matter, killing's the matter, but he can tell you the perpendiculars.
But who, sir, are engaged in this?
Faith, ma'am, one is a young gentleman whom I should be very sorry anything was to happen to, a very pretty behaved gentleman. We have lived much together and always on terms.
Oh, heavens! What, Captain Absolute?
You are with him, sir.
As to the rest, ma'am, this gentleman can inform you better than I.
Do speak, friend.
Looky, my lady, by the mass, there's mischief going on. Folks don't used to meet for amusement with firearms and firelocks and fire engines and fire screens and the devil knows what other crackers, and besides, this, my lady, has an angry savour.
Who is there beside Captain Absolute, friend?
My poor master. You know me, my lady. I'm David, and my master is, of course, or was, Squire Acres, and then comes Squire Falkland.
You, ma'am, let us instantly endeavour to prevent mischief.
Oh, fine, would be very inelegant in us. We should only participate things.
Ah, do, Miss Aunt. Please save a few lives. Above all, there's that bloodthirsty Philistine, Sir Lucius O'Trigger.
Sir Lucius O'Trigger? Oh, mercy! They must have drawn poor dear Sir Lucius into the scrape.
What are we to do, madam?
Why, fly with the utmost felicity, to be sure, to prevent mischief. Here, friend, can you show us the place?
If you please, ma'am, I will conduct you. David, do you look for Sir Anthony?
Come, girls, this gentleman will exhort us. Come, sir, you are our envoy. Lead the way, and we'll proceed. Do you know the spot?
I think I can find it, ma'am. And one good thing is, we shall hear the report of the pistols as we drop in, though we can't very well miss them. Never fear, ma'am, never fear.
By my valor. Then, Sir Lucius, 40 yards seems a good distance for a duel with pistols.
Upon my conscience, Mr. Acres, you must leave these things to me. Stay now 12 paces. There now. Yeah, that is a very pretty distance. A pretty gentleman's distance.
Soon, you might as well fight in a sentry box, I tell you, Sir Lucius. The farther off he is, the cooler I shall take my aim.
Well, the gentleman's friend and I must settle that. But tell me now, Mr. Acres, in case of an accident, is there any little will or commission I could execute for you?
I am much obliged to you, Sir Lucius, but I don't understand.
Well, for instance now, if that should be the case, would you choose to be pickled and sent home, or would it be the same to you to lie in the Abbey? I'm told there's a very snug lion in the Abbey.
Pickled? Snug lying in the Abbey? Odds tremors, Sir Lucius. Don't talk so.
I suppose, Mr. Acres, you never were engaged in an affair of this kind before?
No, Sir Lucius, never before.
Ah, that's a pity. There's nothing like being used to a thing. Ah, here they are.
Oh, mercy, now that I was safe at Claude Hall, or could be shot before I was aware.
Gentlemen, your most obedient, what, Captain Absolute. So, I suppose, sir, you are come here just like myself to do a kind office. First for your friend, then to proceed to business on your own account.
What, Jack? My dear Jack, my dear friend.
Harkee, Bob. Beverley's at hand.
So, Mr. Beverley, if you'll choose your weapons, the captain and I will measure the ground.
My weapons, sir.
Odds life, Sir Lucius. I'm not going to fight Mr. Falkland. These are my particular friends.
What, sir? Did you not come here to fight Mr. Acres?
No, not I, upon my word, sir.
Well, now, that's mighty provoking. But I hope Mr. Falkland, as there are 3 of us, come on purpose for the game. You won't be so cantankerous to spoil the party by sitting out.
Oh, pray, Falkland, fight to oblige Sir Lucius.
Nay, if Mr. Acres is so bent on the matter.
No, Mr. Falkland, I'll bear my disappointment like a Christian. Looky, Sir Lucius, there's There's no occasion at all for me to fight, and if it is the same for you, I'd as lief let it alone.
Observe me, Mr. Akers. I must not be trifled with. You have certainly challenged somebody, and you came here to fight him. Now, if that gentleman is willing to represent him, I can't see for my soul why it isn't just the same thing.
Why, no, Sir Lucius. I tell you, 'tis one Beverley I have challenged, a fellow you see that dare not show his face.
Now hold, Bob. Let me set you right. There is no such man as Beverley in the case. The person who assumed that name is before you. It is I.
Well, this is lucky. You now have an opportunity to...
What? Quarrel with my dear friend Jack Absolute? Not if he were 50 Beverleys. Zoon, Sir Lucius, would you not have me so unnatural?
Upon me conscience, Mr. Akers, your valour has oozed away with a vengeance.
Not in the least. I'll be your second with all my heart, Sir Lucius, and if you should get a quietus, you may command me entirely. I'll get you snug lying in the abbey here, or pickle you and send you over to Blunderbuss Hall, or anything of the kind with the greatest pleasure.
Well then, Captain Absolute, 'tis we must begin. Will you draw, sir?
Come on then, sir. Since you won't let it be an amicable suit, here's my reply.
Put up your sword, Jack. Put it up, or I shall be in a frenzy. How came you in the duel, sir?
Sir, that gentleman called me out without explaining his reasons.
Gad, sir. How came you to call my son out without explaining your reason?
Your son, sir, insulted me in a manner which my honour could not brook.
Zoons! Jack, how durst you insult the gentleman in a manner which his honour could not brook?
Come, let's have no honour before ladies. Captain Absolute, come here. How could you intimidate us so? His Lydia has been terrified to death for you.
For fear I should be killed or escape, ma'am.
Nay, no delusions to the past. Lydia is convinced. Speak, child.
With your leave, ma'am, I must put in a word here. I believe I could interpret the young lady's silence. Now, Mark.
What is it you mean, sir?
Well, come, Delia. We must be serious now. It's no time for trifling.
'Tis true, sir, and your reproof bids me offer this gentleman my hand and solicit the return of his affections.
Oh, my little angel, say you so? Sir Lucius, I perceive there must be some mistake here with regard to the affront which you affirm I have given you. I can only say that it could not have been intentional, and I ask your pardon. But for this lady, while honoured with her approbation, I will support my claim against any man whatever.
Well said, Jack. And I'll stand by you, my boy.
Mind, I give up all my claim. I make no pretensions to anything in the world, and if I can't get a wife without fighting for her, by my valor, I'll live a bachelor.
Captain, give me your hand. An affront handsomely acknowledged becomes an obligation. And as for the lady, if she chooses to deny her own handwriting here...
Letters from Delia.
Ooh, he will dissolve my mystery. Sir Lucius, perhaps there's some mistake. Perhaps I can illuminate.
Pray, old gentlewoman, don't interfere where you have no business. Miss Languish, are you my Delia or not?
Indeed, Sir Lucius, I am not.
Sir Lucius, Trigger, ungrateful as you are, pardon my blushes. I am Delia.
You? Delia?
Those letters are mine. And when you are more sensible of my benignity, perhaps I may be brought to encourage your addresses.
Mrs. Malaprop, whether you or Lucy have put this trick on me, I am equally beholden to you. And to show you I am not ungrateful, Captain Absolute, since you have taken that lady from me, I'll give you my Delia into the bargain.
I am much obliged to you, Sir Lucius, but here is my friend, Fighting Bob, unprovided for.
Ha! Little valor. Here's Mrs. Malaprop. Will you make your fortune?
Odd sprinkles, no, but give me your hand, Sir Lucius. Forget and forgive. But if ever I give you a chance of pickling me again, say Bob Acres is a dunce, that's all.
Come, Mrs. Malaprop, don't be cast down. You are in your bloom yet.
Oh, Sir Anthony, men are all barbarians.
Julia, how can I sue for what I so little deserve? I dare not presume. Yet, hope is the child of patience.
Falkland.
Come now. I hope there is no dissatisfied person but what is now content. For as I have been disappointed myself, it will be very hard if I have not the satisfaction of seeing other people succeed better.
You are right, Sir Lucius. So, Jack, I wish you joy. Mr. Falkland, the same. Ladies, come now to show you I am neither vexed nor angry. Odds tabbers and pipes, I'll order the fiddles in half an hour to the new rooms, and I insist on your all meeting me there.
Gad, sir, I like your spirit. And at night, we single lads will drink the health of the young couples and a husband for Mrs. Malaprop.
In The Rivals by Richard Brinsley Sheridan, the part of Lydia Languish was played by Grace Sperber White, Julia by Sophie Cameron, Mrs. Malaprop by Ian Four, Lucy by Liz Porter. Jack Absolute was played by Langston Cotman, Sir Anthony Absolute by Brian Monsell, Falkland by Sam Felsenthal, Sir Lucius O'Trigger by Richie Porter, Bob Acres by Mark Reiner, Boots by Robert Weiser, and David by Kit Newman. The production was edited by Liz Porter. Thank you for joining us this evening for The Rivals. As always, if you enjoyed the performance, please consider making a donation to Lumina Studio Theatre. Just go to our website at luminastudio.org. Join us in March for our performance reading of the classic novel of romance and comic misunderstandings, Emma by Jane Austen, adapted by John O'Connor. Thank you, and have a good evening.